are a little bit less pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think no one's.
Is the VOD going to be shared on the Salt and Honey?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
think so.
Cool.
They're a little bit less pressure.
Yeah.
Yay! Hi everybody.
Hi.
We're here.
Shared on the Salt and Honey.
Yay. Yeah. Let me check if we're coming through okay on my.
Okay. I think I
Hi
had my.
everybody. I think that we're live now.
Oh
Yeah.
yay! Okay. There's a little bit of a lag, but we're here. Cool. Thank you
cool.
everyone for coming. This is so cool. This feels like maybe like triple the audience we had last year. But we also had triple the submissions, so that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, we had a lot of submissions. We had almost 500 mini comics.
Yeah.
So
many.
Yeah, y'all were busy last year. It was so cool to see all the comics, and even that was probably just scratching the surface. I can imagine there's still so many that we didn't get.
Yeah,
Oh, hi from Minneapolis, from Mexico. Hi everybody.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, hello.
Everyone want to shout out where they're from? You don't have to.
Yes. Yeah, thank you for coming to the 2023 Minicomic Awards. This is our second time doing it. And yeah, like, just like last year, our whole thing is we wanted to spotlight mini comics because there's really no mini comic awards. Everything is like long form. I mean, I think the Ignatz has a short form category now that I'm thinking about it, but I wanted just to highlight mini comics with this little award ceremony. So Leslie, do you want to introduce our guest judges?
So we are joined today by Yuko Oda and Ananth Hirsh. You might know their books, Johnny Wander, Lucky Penny, and their newest work, Barbarous. Hi, Yuko
so
and
good.
Ananth.
Hello.
We're so happy to be here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you for inviting us. This is a huge honor.
This was mega fun, yeah.
Yay, I'm so glad to have you. You and Leslie, and y'all did so much work reading these comics, so I really appreciate it. Everyone applaud them.
Yeah, thank you for, putting the call out.
Yeah.
So yeah, this year, actually, I'm gonna go ahead and share a little, share our official little slideshow. Let's see if this will work. Let's see how this is gonna appear in our stream.
I just want to say how much I love this character.
Yeah.
So cute.
Really cute.
Oh, thanks.
Little speech bubble guy.
Yeah, little guy.
Oh, guy.
So let me see. Can you see our heads in this?
There's like a little
Wait, you can only see my head. No.
Yeah, I think it's whoever's talking.
I think he jumps around, yeah.
Oh, okay. I wonder if I can show everybody.
Wait,
if someone knows.
I have no idea. A bunch of people mentioned where they're from. There's a bunch of people from outside the US. So
that's so amazing.
Cool. Also, I see it's fangirl. Thank you for coming.
Okay, so
oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, so our donors. Wanted to make sure everyone was mentioned. I will read everybody off real quick, but yeah, this year our prize pool was like monstrous. We have 5,000 to give away, 1,000 to each winner in the 5 categories, which are autobio, nonfiction as one, horror, sci-fi, fantasy, and romance. And yeah, our generous sponsors are Shingen Core, Erica Schultz, Steve Lieber, Bolgalon Press, Tommy Rodricks and Leslie Hung, Emily Carroll, Jam, Andrea from White Squirrel, Yuko and Ananth, and then Silver Sprocket, myself, and David Brothers. Yeah, thank you all for the money. I'm so excited we get to give all our winners this like big hunk of change that will hopefully, make an impact on them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Did you read off Chris Mackay's name?
Huh?
Did you read off Chris Mackay's name?
Did I?
I must have missed it in there. Anyway,
thank you. I said it really fast.
Did I skip it? Oh, sorry, Chris.
Chris, we love you.
Yeah, sorry. I'll settle down and be able to like read things normally in a bit. I'm like a bit hype right now, so thank you for catching me. And then I forgot I made a little slide for you.
Hey,
So
Gosh.
that's
here-
us.
yes.
Oh.
If you want to use like a little time to talk about your work, tell us about
Oh.
yourselves.
Oh my gosh.
Sure. Do you want to go?
Yeah. So Ananth and I have been working together since like 2008 or 2009. We publish a bunch of work that you can read for free at johnnywander.com. We've also worked with a bunch of publishers. We just last year we put out a color edition of Lucky Penny. You can see on the screen here, which was our first long format story that we ever did together, but it got a color edition last year through Oni Press. And then we worked together with J.R. Doyle to put a book called Pixels of You out through Abrams.
Yeah, and that was
Yes.
like last February or something, I think.
Nice.
And then we do Barbarous online
Yes, you can read the whole thing for free at johnnywander.com.
2 times a week when it's updating, which is kind of whenever we're done. So
Yeah, when we finish the next chapter, we're going to start posting it twice a week, but I'm currently working on it right now.
Very cool.
Nice.
Yeah, Barbarous is really beautiful. I recommend all of their work, but yeah.
Good job.
Oh, someone said a student of mine did an essay on Barbarous.
For
Ooh.
real?
so
Oh
much.
my
So
god!
cool.
I'll come get my
Cool.
hands on that essay. I want to read it.
So cool. Let's see. So, okay, yeah, here is our category or
Uh-oh.
off
Sloane, you're cutting out for me.
1 series. Autobio had the most, right? Just-
Yeah, Autobio had the most.
Oh, am I? Can you hear me
Yeah.
now?
You're breaking up a little bit.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I don't know why.
it seems better now.
Yeah, I think it's
Maybe it caught up.
stabilizing more.
I think
It's just my internet, unfortunately.
no worries. Autobio was like close to half, wasn't it?
Was it?
I think so, yeah.
I definitely think that, yeah, that's probably like had like the most. I think so, actually. I think that fantasy and romance didn't have a ton of entries.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There was still a lot, but it was just not as much.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hesitant Doodle. I don't know if I would want to do that without the student's permission, but also I'm extremely interested in reading that. If it would be okay with the person who wrote it.
Yeah, you should ask if they are okay with sending it.
Yeah.
Can
you doing,
you
Sloane?
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Here come,
Oh no, I don't know if I got booted off. My internet just like gave out. Let me see.
You are, let me send a chat. You are coming through.
I might need to.
I think it's doing better now for me.
Yeah, me
Right.
too.
yeah.
I can't tell if. I think I might need to reconnect our stream.
Oh, is the stream? No, it looks like it's going.
Is it going?
Can you guys hear us on the stream? Hello? Oh, maybe not.
Yeah.
Oh, they can hear us, yeah.
Okay.
Someone says I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Sweet. I wasn't sure. Sorry, my internet was sucky for some reason. Okay. Let's move on. Let's talk about our autobio nonfic runner-ups.
Cool.
Yes, let's go for it. So here is our first one. And this is Primavera or How I Broke Up with My Mother by Ezra David Matz. I think this was Ananth's.
No, this
This
one
was
was
Yuko,
mine.
yeah.
Oh, this is Yuko's? Okay.
Really enjoyed this one. I thought that this cartoonist like wove in a lot of themes that kept on coming up over and over again in a really elegant way. I want to keep on like reading more comics by them. I was totally thrilled reading this. I've never once watched a single second of The Sopranos, and there were all these Sopranos jokes in there, and I'm like, I don't get it. I love what I'm reading.
I also really like the use of the green as a pop color. It looks nice.
Yeah, totally. This was really very charming and a really interesting story and conflict.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like all their different comics that kind of touch on their various obsessions with HBO.
Yeah.
Getting a lot of mileage out of that subscription.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I should probably be watching more too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, this one was solid.
Yeah.
Do we have any other comments, or should we move on to our next runner-up?
Yeah, let's go to the next runner-up.
Let's do it.
Okay. Our next runner-up is Just Going for a Walk by Keezy Young.
Oh yeah, I think this was my pick. I really like this one. The drawings were just like really evocative. I thought that like the page flow is like really easy breezy, kind of like I just like knew where to put my eye, which I really appreciate because I think it's like a subtle thing that if it is well done kind of goes unnoticed. And I liked how the walk, that is the title of the comic, is like fairly eventful, but then at the end, not are we allowed to spoil stuff on this stream?
I think it's fine. Yeah.
I
Fine,
feel like
right?
mini
Yeah.
comics are pretty hard not to spoil because there's no
That's
story.
true.
Yeah.
That's true. I like that all these things happened, and at the end it's sort of like collapsed down by like the person who is the main character, by them saying, oh yeah, nothing really happened. I thought that worked pretty effectively, so I like this one a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Oh, go ahead, Yuko.
I really like how the palette in the presentation really gets you into the mindset of the like main character. Like it really puts you into the space of what they are experiencing in like all senses. It's like really excellent, I thought.
Yeah, I think this one made like a really big visual impact for me. I just really like how this person, like, I think there's a lot of like not collage, but maybe use of photography, edited down and made like super high contrast, and the art just like melded with it really perfectly. So I was really impressed by that.
Yeah,
I like that I feel like there were like a couple of autobio comics about going on walks, and then each one of them like made me kind of scared. So I feel like it's kind of like an effective medium, because I was just like, oh my gosh, like this is like my nightmare to go on a walk and something happening. Like I don't want anything to happen. And I love how like posterized everything looks, and I just feel like it's a really successful palette and comic.
I agree.
Would you say it made you decide to stay home?
Yeah, basically. I'm like, I'm good.
That's hard to do.
Yeah, exactly. like I'm struggling to find reasons to stay home.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, beautiful work, Keezy. Let's go to our next one, which is Sea Spittle by Garesh.
I think this is my runner-up.
Yes.
I just really
talk about it.
How beautiful this comic was. It's a pretty short comic, and it doesn't have any text. It's just like a visual narrative. So it was very I don't know, it's like a nice little like breath of fresh air kind of. I also think that's pretty hard to make a cohesive narrative without any text at all. But I thought that they did a really good job, and it's just really hypnotic to look at.
Yeah.
Hypnotic's a good word. Yeah. The abstraction was like really cool. Yeah, you're kind of like given a lot of space to insert your own thoughts maybe.
Right.
But then a lot of the imagery is like, like with the water and some of the other things is like pretty tangible too. So I don't know, it's the kind of thing, I think it was like 4 or 5 pages. I don't remember the length exactly.
Yeah, I think so.
But you can kind of flip back and forth between them and just really spend a lot of time with it. So it's like really nice.
Yeah. I love it when a cartoonist just has like a masterful ability to play with negative space. You can see it on these pages, just like the places where there's high density of detail and then just like places where the eye wants to relax. It feels like the push and pull is really nice.
Yeah. And I think this comic was only like 3 or 4 pages, right? It was like pretty short, if I
Yeah, it was quite
remember.
short.
But yeah, it just really leaves a huge stylistic impression. There was like a handful that I like, really, really abstract autobio comics. And those were really interesting.
Yeah.
But
The artist for this one is Goresh, I think.
yes.
Did we
Yeah,
say
can you
that
put that
already?
in the chat? The chat's asking.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Goresh. And we will post the runner-up and winners list on the site and like other places afterwards.
Cool.
Let's go on to our last, is this our last one? Oh yeah, one more runner-up, which is my favorite. This is Meditations on First Philosophy by Goda Trachamaite. And I don't think I've ever seen this person's work before. It looks like they have a lot of work though, a lot of comics. But I don't know, I was just really blown away by like the intensity of detail, and just their visual style, but also I don't know why I was just really struck by the narration in this. It was both like funny and kind of absurdist, and it felt very like deeply in tune with this person's like stream of consciousness. And so yeah, I really enjoyed this comic a lot.
I loved all the like patterns and details and the drawings. There's something very like, it made me feel like I just thought a lot about textiles, I think, while reading it.
Yeah, I was about to say like feels like the patterns are almost textile, like you want to touch them.
Yeah, definitely.
It's kind of like those like what is it, that like Tim Robinson short with the crazy shirts. Like going to the mall to just try on like the craziest patterns. But this is also another like taking a walk comic.
Yeah.
This was very interesting. It made me feel very like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm in this person's brain. It was very interesting. I liked it.
Stuff like this always makes me feel like I have to up my game with like hatching and textures and black work.
Yeah.
You're like, I should draw patterns.
I know. I never draw patterns. Like this was like, that's like a whole area I need to kind of like look into visually, I guess.
Yeah, and I think it works really well with the comic too, because if you end up reading it, it's like very stream of consciousness. Kind of reminds me of like, like when you're on the phone and you're drawing on like a pad of paper, that sort of thing. But like it's so intricate. It's very interesting to look at.
Yeah, totally. All right, so those are each of our runner-ups. So I think we can talk about our winner now, which I'm really excited about. So our Autobio winner is actually, who wants to announce it? Does anyone want to? Maybe we can take turns announcing the winner. Maybe I'll do this one first.
Sure. Yeah, go for it.
I just thought about it. So our Autobio nonfic winner is wait, is this loading? Oh, okay, yeah. Now I Can Never know you more than those white walls by Edgar. Yay!
Congratulations!
Congratulations!
Do you have
Congrats,
any
Edgar.
pages?
I have some pages we can look at. So this is the cover. And here's some sample pages that we can. I think I have like 2 or 3 more. But yeah, I am such a huge fan of Edgar's work, and was thrilled when they submitted this this piece in particular. I'm just like obsessed with how they stylize everything, like even in the sample page here, like the way they handle light, the way they like kind of subtract facial features, like all of that is so genius to me. Like it blows me away.
Yeah, we were pretty unanimous in being like totally blown away by this one. One of the things that I keep on coming back to with this work, I'm totally not familiar with this artist at all, but I'm definitely going to check them out in the future, is like a luxurious treatment of time. Like everything is just like the moment to moment action is just like so like delicately and deliberately presented. It's so nice.
I really like how the gray, there's like grays and blacks and whites, and I really love how they're used to like very subtly create depth. Like in the pages that we're looking at here, if we look at the page on the left-hand side, that bottom right panel where the person's fingers are up on the window and their head is sort of leaning against it, you can imagine that their fingertips are pressed to the glass through the use of the white. It's just like little subtle things like that where it's like a fairly simple mark, but it's like really evocative. And I just felt like I saw that sort of attention over and over and over again. It's really spectacular. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's just so much restraint in this comic, which is also like has no text, no dialogue.
Yeah.
And it's so impressive because I think that a lot of the time when people make comics, sometimes they just go a little bit too crazy with the framing, but this just shows so much like, I don't know, discipline or something. I don't know what the right word is, but it just makes me feel like, oh, this is so like creative, but also like very restrained in a way. Yeah, I just love flipping through all these pages. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, same. I also think
wonderful
like
negative space.
oh yeah. I also think actually, let me see if I dang it, my little slideshow doesn't tell me if I have more pages, and I'm afraid to like flip. Oh yeah, there's more pages. Okay, yeah. I don't want to be surprised by a my runner-up early.
Jump scare. Jump scare.
The author is Edgar, for the people asking in the chat. Edgar,
yes,
Edgar.
Yeah. I think one thing too that I liked about this comic was sometimes I feel like the lack of narration or dialogue is often like basically just a way to skirt around it, but here it feels so purposeful. Like you can tell there's such a thought through like story happening, and the lack of narration doesn't feel like a cop out. It feels like the artist inviting us to read further into the story and like, you know, project our own thoughts and interpretations. For me anyway, that's how it felt. And I feel like Edgar also does that with the imagery. There's a lot of interesting juxtapositions of like this like character, this like parent character who also works at like a what you call it, like as a butcher, and lining up those panels. Yeah, and like lining up those panels with like a child sleeping at home. It's just like so powerful and like eerie and like macabre, and yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, like it's hard to see in the example pages, but there's a lot of visual rhyming that I thought was just like really, really elegant, especially when it's a dialogueless comic. There's no text, so like there's a lot of parallels that are drawn between like working the slaughterhouse and these CT scans that come later, and like this mobile and like a ceiling fan. It's just like these like rhyming shapes and rhyming concepts I thought were like really sophisticated and like very beautiful and elegant.
Yeah, sophisticated is a good word. There's like, I really like comics with like ambiguity, and but the placement of the ambiguity is like very it's like a particular thing. It's a particular skill to be able to do that. And the way this author like sort of chooses to place the ambiguity is like super fascinating to me. Yeah. Like certain things are definitely decided, and then certain things you just are kind of free to fill in. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, congrats to Edgar for
Good
the best
job.
autobio comic we read this year.
Congratulations.
Yay.
Congratulations.
All right. So what is our next? Oh yeah, our next category is horror.
Sure.
So we're gonna talk about our favorite horror runner-ups. The first one is mine. This is a panel from or a page from Sortie. I Am a Man of Peace by Mean Boss and Barbados. And I am just like a huge fan again of. Oh yeah, and I guess I need to like trigger warn for this page because it's like gory. Sorry.
Trigger warning for this entire for the whole category. Yeah.
This is actually fairly tame compared to the other visuals.
Yeah.
I just like that you're like, oh, I'm sorry. I should have done that. I should have done that.
Yeah, I just realized. Anyway, sorry about that. Trigger warning for this category. Yeah, I really love these two cartoonists' work. They collaborate. One, like, I believe, right? Wait, who does it? Mean Boss does the final art, and Barbados does, I believe, the writing and the roughs.
Cool.
But they are just like doing like some really insane, like Itchy the Killer level, like gore and action and like insane psychological thrillers. I think their first comic, Sad Sack, is like 1,000 pages long, and it's just extreme violence, an erotica, and it's crazy. But this one is just yeah, I highly recommend.
Cool.
But yeah, I really liked this comic.
These comics really scared me. I think there's something about the pacing and like the paneling and everything, but
yeah,
it's really beautiful as well.
Yeah, like these comics got a real visceral reaction out of me. Some of it's like really difficult to look at. I think it was very successful in that way.
Yeah,
and like gore can be exercised in sort of like a simple way, but I thought the way that it was exercised here really fit with like the whole thrust of the narrative, where it is like almost like a fever dream that you're tumbling through.
Yeah.
Both there were two entries from these authors, and I thought both of them were just like, not only is each page like visually arresting, but I just felt like I was just like falling into this comic and going and going and going, and that sense of like momentum was really impressive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is and this year we allowed like excerpts from longer pieces. So this is an excerpt from their ongoing comic, which I think has several chapters out already. So yeah, I encourage everyone to go check out their work. Let's see. Our next runner up is Better the Devil You Know by Nazmo.
Yay.
Yeah. I love this comic. This is so much fun. This is like exactly to my tastes. It was just like such a delight to read. I love stupid horny protagonists, and I had that in spades. So
yeah, it's like really. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's just like really fun cartooning, really confident, and you know the story was told in like just really. It's just like a very clean, very funny story, and like very satisfying to get to the end. And I don't know, it was just super fun to read. I read this one twice. It really made me laugh.
Yeah, I think this is also my choice for a runner-up for horror. I just love Nazmo's work. You should check it out if you haven't already. I'm sure a lot of people already have, but this was no exception. It's very fun to read. Not very scary, but very thrilling nonetheless.
there's a demon. There's a possession.
Yes, there's
horror.
Scary elements. It's mostly very, very sexy though.
Yeah.
Good job, Nazmo.
Yeah, Nazmo, I feel like I know we talked about this during our like judging meeting, but like I feel like Nazmo has just like such a specific type of narrative and storytelling voice that you can just like you instantly know it as soon as you read it, and same with her style. But yeah, this was also just like a pleasure to read as always.
Yeah.
And oh yeah, and if any of the runner-ups or winners are like in the chat, feel free to like drop the links to your work if you want in the chat, because I know lots of people wanna read your work. Okay, let's go to our final runner-up, and this is The Salt Lick Wife by Nikki Smith.
Oh yeah, I think this was my pick. I like this one. It is sort of like a walk. It's almost like a walk in the dark. I guess like Leslie was saying, it's like a walk in the dark. Yeah, it's like a walk in the dark towards like something ominous. And I think the thing that worked for me is that a lot of times when you have something like that where it's like building up to something, that thing really needs to sort of pay off in a way. And I felt like it worked for me here really well. The reveal at the end, I just like thought was, I think I've used the word an arresting image a couple of times, but that's how I tend to think about comics these days. And I just thought it was a very arresting image, so it stuck with me. Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I think this was also I like Nikki's comics a lot, and I think this was also like a stylistic departure from Nikki's usual kind of feel and aesthetic. So that was really cool. I really like the white lines and like the textured kind of painted backgrounds a lot.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it kind of, now that you say that, it kind of looks like it was feeling around in the dark, like that feeling of that is kind of what it's like.
Oh yeah, that's a great way to describe it for sure. Okay, so yeah, we don't have a fourth runner-up because two of us picked the same one. So we're gonna go straight to our horror winner. And our horror winner is Banu Sediment by Banu Pratap.
Good job, Banu.
Yay!
Congrats.
Yeah, who wants to start with Sediment? We all really loved it, but yeah.
Who wants to go?
Someone asked which one did two people pick. That was Nazmo's piece.
Nazmo. I chose Nazmo, and I think Leslie did too.
Yeah.
I can start if we're trying to decide. So Banu had I think 2 entries in this category. Was that right?
Yes, it was Sediment and Cutting Season.
Yeah, and so we were kind of like trying to decide between the two, and they were both, I think, on our short list of winners. Banu just draws in a way that I've never seen, or I'm going to use the word like experienced before. I feel like looking at his drawings is an experience. It's very abstract, but like very there's like volume to it. Really strong sense of like shapes, like really strong sense of like what is the correct shape and then how to break that shape so that you can kind of like know what it was meant to be, and that sort of makes the distortion even more unsettling. The thing that made me gravitate towards this one a lot was just the use of the single, like black and white, like the single color. I thought it was such an effective use of like one color sort of in unexpected ways, like this bottom right panel that you've got up here. I should let other people talk though.
I love Banu's work. I feel like he's making such he's giving like unique depictions of body horror that I haven't seen before. Like I talked about before, it feels like he's like drawing from like the kind of almost cubist feel of like Yuichi Yokoyama, but he also knows how to like play with like texture and like the weight of like meat, and so it's very like Francis Bacon-y. And he just has an aesthetic that is all his own, and I find it just like really exciting and viscerally upsetting to read his work.
Sorry, I just saw someone's comment that said that the text says autobio winner, and I hope not. This one's for horror.
This one's for horror. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry, my bad.
With your hands, it's fine.
That's what I get for making these slides at like 2 a.m.
It happens.
Whoopsie.
Yeah, this is like, I was not familiar with Banu's work before I read these comics, so I was like very unnerved by them, but also like very fascinated. Their draftsmanship is just really like seems pretty unparalleled. It's so like it's like simultaneously like really flat, also like really meaty, and like has so much dimension. I really liked their other comic as well, Cutting Season. Like that was kind of what solidified like why I was like into the work, because sometimes I say things and I'm like, that's cool, but like, is that like, I'm not sure how I feel yet. And then I read more of it and then I'm like, okay, I get it. This is crazy.
Yeah, like this person has a voice that is unlike anything I've ever seen before, which is I think that what Ananth mentioned. There's also like a dark humor that runs through a lot of his work, which is like really surprising and like actually very fun when you find it. It was especially in the other comic. There's just like a lot of like very subtle absurdist humor that that kind of like runs through the stories that is actually really fun.
Yeah.
That you like wouldn't expect.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it kind of catches you off guard because you'll get so absorbed in the illustrations and that stuff, and then you'll read the words and you'll be like, oh, that's kind of funny.
Yeah. Yeah, the way often like the dialogue and the narration is also delivered in kind of like an interesting manner. Like it's very like still like purposely stilted and kind of poetic. And I also think that adds to like the kind of strange, eerie atmosphere of his stories. Yeah, I really like it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, congrats, Banu.
Good job, Banu.
Congratulations.
All right. We are now on to our sci-fi runner-ups. Yay. Let's see. First up is Pudica 33 by Chelsea Akpan. This was my favorite runner-up. I just thought it was like, first it was just like really beautifully drawn, some really great like bouncy, squishy, stretched cartooning. The color is wonderful. And it's pretty short, but I just thought it was like a really evocative little moment in this character's like life and finding this little alien flower that she kind of like connects with.
Yeah, this comic is so beautiful. It's stunning.
Yeah, I love the shapes. They're just like so design heavy. Like I love it when a person knows how to design. It's just like they know how to place shapes and lines in really pleasing ways.
Yeah, and the use of color is like really, really fun too. Yeah, it's just like a great little comic, and I love the, what do you call it, like the lettering also. Yeah, it's like super cute and super fun.
Yes, really loved this comic.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Next up, we have Hugh Marks by Victor Alpi.
I think that this was my choice. Right?
I think it was two of your choices.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Go for it.
This was just like a really interesting to look at comic. Like it was just so gorgeous. A lot of like, just, I don't know how to describe it other than like just showing off like every single skill this person has, which are numerous.
yeah.
And every page was just like a new delight and like new fun thing that they're really good at drawing. So that was kind of the reason for my choice. It's just that it was so pretty to look at.
Yeah, like the way that we described this comic when we were chatting about it was like every single page, the artist feels like it feels like they're showing off in a different way in every single page, just like the composition or like the way that the text is placed, just like really big chunks of like chunky text that form like really cool shapes that lead the eye. Just real incredible skill.
Yeah, it was like watching like an Olympic muscle guy like flex differently each time you turn the page, and he's like, I didn't even know you could flex the muscle like that, but you know. Yeah, this is just a super impressive comic. Like, it's awesome. Yeah.
Nice. And then our last runner-up is Phone Home by Jenny O'Grady.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this one was mine. I really liked this one. It's like almost only superficially like a sci-fi comic, because it's like one of the protagonists is an alien, but really the whole story is about relationships. It felt very like E.T. meets like a John Hughes film. It was just about like teens having a difficult time, and I really loved it. I love the cartooning and the simplicity of like the black lines. I personally think it's really difficult to have a really pleasing looking comic that doesn't confuse the eye, that's only done with a fixed width pen, and I think that it was really successful.
Yeah, this is a really charming, very well drawn comic for sure. Yeah, I think the only it felt very slice of life, which I think is like, I know a lot of people are asking like, why don't you have like comedy as a category? Why don't you have like all these categories? And I'm like, because but I also I also really like this comic.
I loved how charming and cute it was. It was just I feel like it's really impressive to have like a whole narrative from start to finish with a mini comic. So yeah, I was really impressed by it.
Yeah, and it really gets there. It has a couple of threads that sort of start and resolve in the same, I think it was like 30 some pages, which is pretty impressive, because that is a lot harder than it looks, I think. Yeah, that's
true. Yeah, so for people that don't know, the limit for our mini comics is 32 pages. So when we say it's like story dense, like that's really impressive to do in such a short span of like page time. Okay, so let's go on to our winner. Ananth, do you want to announce our winner this time?
Yes, I hope I pronounced the title correctly.
All right, go ahead.
It was Spiracori by Carenza Sparks.
Yay! Congrats, Carenza.
Congratulations. Yeah. This was just like a fun series of stories that, should I let you start, Sloane?
Oh, I don't care. It's
put
fine.
This together.
I don't care.
Yeah, it was okay. Sorry. It was just a really fun, like the chapters are all connected, but they all sort of revolve around different, essentially like science experiments. And I found the storytelling to be really appealing. I like that it kind of leaned into science fiction, but again with the ambiguity, I like that there were things that you could kind of wonder about. I liked it a lot.
Nice. Yeah, this story felt very complete, which I feel like is another thing that is difficult to accomplish in a short form story. But it felt very narratively rich. It had a lot of interesting little like character branches. That you had like a main plot going on. And yeah, I was really impressed by it.
We got Carenza in the chat who's saying
yay!
it's Spirocori, and also congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations,
Carenza.
Yeah, thank you. Spirocori, good to know.
Spirocori.
Yeah, I really like this one. I like that it was like a little bit psychological. It reminded me a little bit of like watching the Andromeda Strain when I was like really like way too young to be watching it with my mom on the couch. It had like a kind of vibes like that. But I really like the cartooning. I love the moment to moment cartooning. I really enjoy seeing that and seeing like time presented in a very like slowly paced way through like lots of very like intricately drawn panels. It's something that I envy in other people to be able to do.
Yeah, I really like this comic. I was, after reading like a couple hundred mini comics, sometimes it's kind of hard to get into something. Like it's kind of hard to be drawn into like a narrative. And I found this one to be really compelling. And I just liked like how kind of like far it went, but also like how much it left to the reader's interpretation. So yeah, I just really liked it. And I love like line art that is just one width.
Yeah.
It's like very pleasing to my eye.
Yeah, each like chapter was kind of like a little mystery, and that was cool. I like that.
It's like I was very impressed to see that in a mini comic, like a multi-chapter story.
Yeah,
it definitely felt bigger than it actually was, like the scope of the story, which is really kind of impressive to be able to kind of convey that sensation of like vastness.
Right.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah, and the thing you said about the simple line with Leslie, I thought worked really well for this. With some of the shots, they just work really well with that style.
Yeah, and it's like kind of like fits in with the narrative as well, like the themes.
Oh yeah, totally. Oh, cool.
Very cool.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congrats,
Go read it.
All right. We now have our fantasy runner-ups. Yay.
Ooh.
Okay. Our first runner-up is Steve Barden for Frostfall Bleeding Spirits. I'm cheating a little because this was submitted to the horror category, but I consider this like dark fantasy technically too, so I am pulling it here. Steven, yes, Steven's work is really cool. I just find it very aesthetically unique. I love just how relentless his inking is, like just the textures blow me away. And yeah, I just love the, you got heavy metal lettering, you just have like constant bloodied suffering characters in every story. And yeah, I just really liked it.
Yeah, I love looking at it, right? Like just all the little lines that went into this. I can just imagine the energy of everything that this is about comes through. Like whenever I look at like any part of it, it just feels like it is like full bore kind of happening. You can practically hear the music,
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah,
Really
for
cool.
sure.
Yeah. I deeply respect anybody who is able to put this much like energy and intent into like this much like hatching in detail and like fine detail and like different qualities. It's like really like incredible. I cannot do this.
Yeah.
It's like great.
Yeah, I love just like the berserk reminiscent energy that goes into this. I'm just like, I cannot think like this at all. This is very opposite of what I do personally, and that I find it very admirable. And it's like really cool that they did so much work. It's very impressive.
Yeah, I love that I can look at this and like honestly read through the whole thing and just like know just how psyched they were about it. Like it seems like this person was so psyched to be drawing this, and that is really cool that it comes through.
I agree. Let's see. Our next fantasy runner up is wait, is this After the Ashes?
Yes.
Yes. that's
Okay,
exactly
After the Ashes by Barbara Mazzi.
Yeah.
Is this?
Yeah, I this might have been mine. We talked about this one a lot. I just really loved this comic. I thought that the just it's pretty short. It's only maybe like 6 pages, but I really liked the like lettering and the layouts. I feel like the very beginning and the very end have like these really incredible like crowd scenes that are like very detail dense, but also really easy to parse visually. I thought that it was just like really masterfully technically done. It was really nice and had like a nice arc and follow through that was like very creepy.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, this one was surprisingly creepy. I think this might have been one of my choices. I just love how short it was, and it's very mysterious and beautiful. It has like this like really pretty storybook quality to it. Yeah, I just thought it was super successful for like such a short comic. I wanted more of it, but I'm not trying to be greedy, but I loved it.
Yeah, I love this third panel on the second page that you have up here with like the face and the hands. And it sort of to me is emblematic of like everything that I like about this one. There's just a really nice quality to it that is like a little bit of mystery, a little bit of sort of like a sinister air about it. That surprised me actually, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I would echo all of that. It was very like visually splashy and charming, and then yeah, that like you said, that sinister edge really came through. Let's see. Our next runner-up is Boxed into a Corner by Serena Cerrillo.
Oh, Serena Cerrillo. I think this might have been my pick. So Serena Cerrillo had entries in, I think, almost every category, which if you're thinking of entering this, we encourage you to do, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a numbers game.
But don't be shy about submitting to more than one category. But yeah, honestly, there were a couple of Serenas that I was looking at, and this is the one that I ended up picking, but I think generally speaking, they're like an amazing cartoonist. I love sort of like the diversity of designs in this, but each one of them reads really legibly. The writing and the sense of humor is like really fun. And it's like really confident cartooning, like the long shot with the silhouette to like these talkie panels to then the sky shot, like those are like nice deliberate choices. I don't know, I really enjoyed this one. And it's a fun little adventure too, so yeah. This person is super talented. I'm very excited to see what they do in the future as well.
Yeah,
I really like this comic. It kind of came out of nowhere for me because I just wasn't expecting to see such a like, I don't know, this like level of finish. Like I felt like it was all the drawings were like super consistent for such a long comic, I feel.
Yeah.
And it was just, it's just this really fun adventure that kind of reminded me of like, it just felt like very playful and kind of like a Saturday morning cartoon. I just really enjoyed it.
It was like really funny, and like the jokes and the follow through were just like so well crafted. It was just like really fun to read it, and I finished it and I'm like, where's the rest? I want to read an entire book of this.
Yeah, I also am impressed when people can kind of cram in like a bigger cast into a comic.
Especially a mini comic.
Yeah, especially a short form comic like this. Like I was pretty impressed. Like it felt like I had read like a volume of a comic instead of just like 30 something pages. So this was really cool. I really like Serena's work.
Yeah, same.
Okay, we have one more runner up, and that is If I Could Follow by Ari Johnson.
Yeah, this one was my pick. I really enjoyed this comic. I think that it actually has a lot of similarities in a lot of ways to my pick for sci-fi, which is that it's very much about like teen angst and like the difficulties of growing up and trying to make connections with other people. I think that this one was especially just like really nicely done. The follow through was like great. I really liked the way that it was paced, and the like the intent in the storytelling was just I thought it was confident. It was really well crafted.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I also, this was another one that was like straddling a line between like really like kind of like bittersweet and like also kind of scary. Like I like anything to do with fairies, you kind of have to like side-eye them a little bit.
Yeah.
So I really liked the tone of this comic a lot. It kind of kept me on the edge of my seat. I was like, okay, how is this gonna go really bad at some point? But yeah.
You're like, I just don't trust fairies at all.
I'm like, I don't trust fairies.
Ever.
It's well known.
I'm learning.
Yeah, this comic is really
This is
cute
really-
and like ominous. Yeah, I would say ominous.
Yeah, I'll echo what Yuko said about it feeling really confident. I thought that as a drawn comic, it was like super confident, and I like that it set out to get certain feelings across, and those feelings like super came through. You know, like I was engaged with it while I was reading it, which is again, to going back to something Leslie said, like when you read a bunch of entries in a row, sometimes you know, you're hoping for something to grab you, and this one kind of like pulled me out of my reading fugue and was like, pay attention to me, and I was like, oh yeah, I am.
Yeah. Yeah, very emotionally potent story.
Yeah.
It is pretty touching.
Yeah, and like a satisfying read. Like the arc of it is like the arc of the story is like really satisfying.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Does someone want to announce our winner?
I guess I can.
Okay, do it. Do it.
Yeah.
What if I mess it up?
It's okay. You got this.
Okay.
You got
Right.
this.
Our fantasy winner is Why Don't You Like Me by Gaia Papoila. Did I do that correctly? I hope so.
Gaia, let us know in the chat if we're saying your name right.
Please let us know.
Yeah.
Gaia is
And
here.
congratulations.
Yeah.
Yay,
Hello.
Gaia!
Congratulations, Gaia.
I think Gaia
Gaia
is
also-
here.
I hope so.
Gaia also submitted a bunch of comics in different categories, from
Yeah.
what I remember.
And they're all contenders. Like I really liked all of her comics.
Yeah.
Yeah, so beautiful.
It's
Yeah,
really great.
This is such a fun comic. Actually, admittedly, I had read this one before because I saw the cover during the short box fair, and I picked it up sight unseen. I'd never heard of the cartoonist, but I loved the cover, and it's so fun. This is such a great comic. This person can really draw, has a great sense of humor, like really nice like breakout panels, like, and also just like the sense of girls being mean at like at like boarding school. It's like really fun. I love mean girls being mean to each other.
Yeah.
I know, it's just like it's the Venn diagram of different things that it like crosses over into that I'm interested in was like kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Like a little bit of fairy tale, like magic, and also like mean girls at boarding school and bullying and stuff. I was like, this is so like, yeah, this is so up my alley. I just love like, I don't know, the antics. They're like so life and death.
I was cackling as I was reading it. Like, I love the frog design. I love how mean the girls are. The part where I don't know if we have a screenshot of it. Oh, we do.
Yeah.
The part where she she cuts the other girl's bangs. I was like, oh my god,
Oh yeah.
you're doing it.
know.
Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah, this is just like delightful to read. And there's something about the way Guy kind of like put this together where like the fairy tale part of it kind of like fills in a lot of the blanks. And so it just felt like very confidently told, knowing what they could rely on their reader to kind of fill in. So this is a great comic. I
Yeah.
really encourage everyone to read it. It's really fun.
Yeah. There's also a couple of panels, like this is one panel, but there's at least one more panel where you get to see like a girl running away, like sparkling with her tears, like trailing behind them. And that's like exactly my shit. I love stuff like that.
I know. I love how wronged the main character is, just because she's like so alone in her agony. Just loved it. I could have read like 100 more pages of girls being mean to each other. It's like so addicting.
I'm also just obsessed with this person's. I love the depiction of this frog. Like, I love that it's not
huge.
Cute.
It's huge.
It's like, yes, it's absolutely huge. It's like I can like empathize with the disgust that our protagonist has, like especially when she's eating and it's got the huge like mouth just like draping over the plate. Yeah, there's so many hilarious moments in this. I loved it.
Yeah.
There's I don't know if we have it here, but if you go and read this comic, and you really should, there's a shot of where the frog girl runs away crying and she's like a boo hoo hoo.
Oh yeah.
It's like my favorite drawing of the whole thing. It was just right on point. Oh, hi Meredith.
Hi Meredith.
Hi Meredith. Please read this comic.
Yes.
Yeah, read it.
Yeah, I actually don't know if you can get it now that the short box fair is over. I have no idea how you pick this up, but yeah, hopefully you can.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get all the links from these comics because they're probably spread around like Itch.io and Gumroad and whatever. So hopefully I'll have that for you all soon. Okay, let's go on to our last category, which is romance.
All right.
Romance.
Romance.
So these are our romance runner-ups. And our first one is Long Neglect by Theo Stultz. I think this is my fave, but we all were super impressed by Theo's work. Just incredibly delicate comicking. They have like such a eye for detail. They do a lot of like gothic dark dramas. So it was nice to see this like short adaptation of this poem, and it's just like it's stunning.
Yeah, this one was just like incredible to look at. It just like some of the pages and panels just look like old masterful like magazine ad illustrations. Just like incredible illustration work, but also like very clear to read as comics.
Yeah, I just loved how every single page was like this beautiful work of art.
Yeah,
totally.
Just like really good at drawing architecture.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Oh my god, it's like just like beautiful. Just like want to live in these spaces.
Yeah, architecture looks so good. You just like want to take a bite out of it.
Yeah,
it's like it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also really like specifically like the method of coloring in this one. It's just like really pleasing to look at, and like obviously the level of skill is like very apparent, I think. And I really like the paneling choices too. You know, like I guess like I've never thought about how to like make a comic out of a poem, but it really, some interesting choices were made because the words were what they were, and I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I also think like Theo's work has a lot in common with like Edgar's, a lot like some like mostly like the compositions and kind of the choice to introduce like not not super disconnected imagery, but just not making the super obvious visual choices for the story. And I thought that was really apparent here. And I really admired that.
Yeah.
It was just beautifully designed.
Okay, our next runner up is Master's Garden by Paul Lewis.
I think this was my choice. Yeah.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, I just love this comic. It was so cute, and I loved these characters. I just love Pa's art.
Definitely.
And we were like discussing like just how beautiful these like ruffles and like beautiful maid dresses were. It's just so fun to look at.
It is incredible. Yeah.
It's just like Pa also submitted a couple of submissions, but God, I love just like looking at this one. It's just like the indulgence of ruffles.
Yeah.
It's just like so incredible to look at.
It's so indulgent. And like just this is probably like, it's a funny thing to say, but this is like my favorite fabric folds that I think I saw in all the entries. Like it's just, oh man, it looks so good. It's really incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, they look very starched. Like they have a nice firmness to them.
Yeah, they're so voluminous.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like Pa's work a lot. So this was a treat to read.
Yeah. It was a pleasure to see their work.
Yeah.
I was really glad to see it in the lineup.
Okay, and our next runner up is Worship by Atmaja Pendaya.
Yeah, so Atmaja's comic, this is a story that is like a self-contained story from beginning to end. I think this was also in the Short Box Fair.
Yes, we also picked this one up from the Short Box Fair.
And it's just like such a fun romance. I love the sense of like Atmaja's really good at getting that sense of like yearning through. And I was like, I love when someone can capture that. It's super fun. There's some like really charged moments in the comic where I think it can be hard to kind of like construct those moments, but I remember turning the page and just being like, oh yeah, all right, you know. So yeah, I love this one.
Yeah, this one to me felt like a really masterful use of the gaze, G-A-Z-E,
yeah,
but also the other one too. But like there are all these like POV shots of like just like seeing a cropped like a piece of like a person, and it's just like it like nothing explicit is happening, but it's all in like the intent and the cropping and like the way that people are like looking at each other or not. It's just like it's really the restraint is like really really incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very sensual comic.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I think like when I was reading this, I was like kind of I don't know why I was like a little bit scared. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is stressing me out a little bit. But it is a very satisfying read. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I was wondering if we were gonna go a little like crazed fan or something.
Oh, yeah.
If it was gonna take like a dark turn.
It's like a Stan thing.
Yeah.
Stan,
but yeah, this was super very charming and wholesome and horny, and yeah, I really liked it.
Yeah, I think someone said restraint, and you can even see it on the cover because we could have seen calf, but we only got ankle.
Yes, it's very wholesome.
Yeah,
a little bit.
So like not. The lack of people like touching each other in this, it is like very like surprisingly deeply horny, and that takes skill.
Yeah.
It's a very intimate thing to like dress someone. So I think being in love with someone that you're dressing is probably like insane.
Yeah.
Je ne sais quoi.
Yes. Okay, and our last runner-up is 39 Steps Underground by Nero Villagayos O'Reilly.
Yeah, this one was my choice.
Mm.
God, I think that this is the beginning of something larger, and oh my god, I'm absolutely gonna pick this up. I thought that this was like such a great comic that was just like, it's basically a person going to a sex dungeon as research and like surprising himself that he's getting kind of into it. I just like really loved the moment to moment action. It was obviously really well researched. Like there was just like a lot of moments of, once again, the gaze.
Yeah.
That was just like really well done. And I also there's a scene right at the end where the main character masturbates, and then like suddenly it was like, oh wait, I have to text myself. I just remembered something. And I'm like, wow, this is like, it felt very like lived in and like honest and like messy in a way that I like really, really loved.
And for a second, I thought you meant you had to text yourself from reading
No,
that. I was like, wait.
No, the main character like suddenly like picks up their phone and like, I forgot.
That's right.
It's great.
I wonder if this will stay up on YouTube. I guess we'll see.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh no! Should I not have said that?
No, it's fine.
The drawings in this are also like incredible. Like it's like really good drawing, generally speaking. Like it's black and white. Everything looks great. The paneling's like really polished, but something about also the way the person is able to, there's a part where someone gets like sort of like strung up in ropes, and the way that the author is able to give everything weight was like really pretty amazing. So I really admire this person's ability to draw really good art.
Yeah, Nero,
I feel like
go ahead, Leslie.
Okay, I was just gonna say that like kind of the sex dungeon parts felt very like mysterious. Like there was just so much that I was like, what are they seeing? Like what exactly going on in there? And then I love like kind of how it's like interspersed with like their memories of the sex dungeon and kind of like whatever they're experiencing now. And I just thought it was a really effective way to show like the research and kind of like the memory of it. I thought it was really interesting. I loved it.
Yeah.
I also really liked that it was it's like a very soft touch pandemic comic. Like you only know that this was done during the pandemic because the main character like wordlessly wears puts on a mask at one point, and like that's it. And you're like, oh, okay, I know exactly when this is drawn.
Yeah, I just loved the pacing of this, the like kind of cold open onto the scene and this person asking questions. And yeah, like I agree with like what Ananth said. I think Nero handles the body like so well. Is not afraid to draw like folds and rolls and like depict weight. Also just like a really interesting use of like tone, like it's not like half tones, but it's some sort of texture that I think is really cool, and I've now learned to associate that with like Nero's work. Yeah, it's a really good comic.
Yeah, y'all should read it.
Yes, highly recommended.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we're ready to announce our winner. Leslie, do you want to give it a go?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So our last winner, last but not least, for romance is When It Started by Lisi.
Yay!
Yay! Congratulations!
Congrats, Lisi!
I loved it.
Yay!
Yeah, weren't we like pretty unanimous in this one too? Like I feel like this one really struck us all a lot. Like
yeah, romance was also really, really difficult to judge. Like, especially for me, I love so many of the romance comics. I was just like gobbling them up.
Yeah, this one was really, really awesome. It's really gorgeously drawn, but then the through line of the story is like really interesting. And there's like a sense of suspense that gets built up where you don't really know how it's going to unfold, and then the payoff is like really it was satisfying to me. I'm trying really hard not to spoil this one because I do think there's like a certain amount of joy in reading it, but you guys should go ahead and spoil it if you're going to talk about it.
I think it's okay to talk about it. I feel like I feel like all the winners want us to talk about their work anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, yeah, Leslie, do you want to talk a little bit about your experience with this?
I love Lisi's work, and I was happy to see this comic in here because I think I've actually read this one before. And I just really love it's very restrained, but also like I can just tell like that there's so much love put into it. I just love like the cute drawings and kind of like there's like a little bit of like there's a touch of darkness and like this bizarre like uncanniness to it, which I think is really effective with like the subject matter.
Yeah, I think we said this as well for Gaia's comic for fantasy, but this story also had like a touch of like it's hard to gender angels, but I'm just gonna say like girls being mean to each other.
Yeah.
it was really it was like really pleasing to see. Like, I don't know, I love like the push and pull of people who want different things and treat each other badly. I love that. Yeah, like it opens with the main character getting shoved out of a window.
Yeah.
And like I love just like the drawing of this character just like elegantly falling out of a window, and like the way that it's framed is like so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know, when this story opened, I was like, okay, we got an angel. Is this going to be like kind of a typical guardian angel story? But I was really kind of blown away by how unique this story is. Our like co-protagonist, the angel, and then we have this like dark-haired human. There's like a lot of like enmity that this angel has for the human. And I kind of wasn't expecting that. I was expecting something a lot lighter. And I feel like it also made this like surrounding world, which the story mostly takes place in this tower. And then you can kind of see like in this panel on screen, like it's obviously like a gated Garden of Eden. But something about it just made it feel very alien, very like Utena, where it feels like kind of its own in its own world a little bit. And so I just really liked that, and I liked the angel's resentment toward this human a lot. And yeah, again, also on the girls hating girls bandwagon. Girls being mean to girls.
It's great. What's more delicious?
Yes.
We have to be real and just say that we like it when people are mean to each other, and then like maybe they start to like each other, maybe.
Yeah. I like a love that's like hard won. And even more so like when it's like overcoming their own hate. Or letting it, like cultivating it into love, you know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the thin line between love and hate, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Classic.
It's so good.
Also, man, I thought this when I first read the comic, and I'm thinking it now. This page on the left, that like long panel of the two hands.
Some really good hands.
It's so nice, and like the very subtle way the pointer finger is like breaking the top of the frame.
Oh yeah.
It's so nice to look at. I love it.
I think the author is in the chat, so you draw hands really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, amazing work, Lisi.
Yeah, good job.
Congrats.
Yay.
Yeah, I loved how this is basically what you said, Sloane, but I really liked how self-contained the world was. Like you kind of could pick up on the boundaries and like the background just on the hints that you're given, and everything else kind of like doesn't matter so much. In a lot of ways, I think what I said about Gaia story where it sort of like lets your background knowledge of fairy tales fill in the blanks. I think to some degree this comic does with like angels and like biblical stuff, which and then the ways also in which it kind of like strays away from that is also really interesting. So yeah, just like really interesting, full of surprises and stuff.
Yeah, totally. That's another thing, is like when you're kind of like utilizing these kind of like narrative tropes like angel devil, or then you kind of like are inviting all the like baggage of that trope with it. And I feel like this was able to skirt that just like so well, and made it such its own like unique little like bubble of a narrative where I was like not considering any sort of like angelic connections or whatever.
Right.
Definitely.
So oh yeah, go ahead if you have any final comments, because I think that's our last category.
Yeah.
Congratulations to the winner.
Congratulations on the runner-ups. Thanks so
Yeah.
much for sending in all your comics. They were awesome to read. Really had a good time.
Yeah, God, this was such a treat. It was really, I've been feeling very disconnected from like the comics community, just because I don't know, I haven't been to a convention in a really long time. I haven't seen my friends, I haven't seen like my peers in a long time. And it felt like I was spiritually connecting, like reconnecting to the comics community in like this, I don't know, really pleasurable way. I was really happy to be able to read all of these.
Yeah, you guys did a bunch of great work, and thank you, Leslie and Sloane, for having
thank
us.
you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for reading all these comics.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
Yeah, it was. I feel the same way as you, Yuko, like just being disconnected from the scene, and then getting this like explosion of comics within a month was like very powerful. And I was like, oh wait, I like this medium.
Yeah.
And also I'm not like toiling alone making these comics, like we're all out there struggling to kind of like express ourselves through this very niche medium. And this was really nice that there's like at least 400 people that are still, trucking away at the specific craft.
Yeah, 485.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been very interesting to read all these mini comics over the past, I guess this is the second time we've done it, so it hasn't really been that much, but it's honestly the most mini comics I've probably ever read, and I'm really bad at reading them right when they come out too. And like right after I buy them, so like even when I did go to shows, I'd be like really inspired, but I probably wouldn't touch the minis until like a while after, just because I have, I don't know, procrastination issues. But it was like, yeah, it was really fun to see like the kind of range and all the work, and it really made me want to work on my own comics as well.
Yeah, you guys really energized us. So thank you for sending your stuff in.
Yeah, for real.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks everyone for joining
yeah,
us.
thank
So
you guys
fun.
for attending. Thank you so much, Sloane and Lindsay, for organizing this, and thank you for approaching us to do it. This was like such a pleasure.
Yay, thank you.
Yay.
All right, good night all.
Good
Night.
night. Congrats to all the winners again.